Hello, everyone, and welcome. It's Shanna Makes It, and I'm part of the creative crew for Cat Scrappiness. And today we're going to be working with the magical Quokka set. And I've already done all of my stamping and coloring, and I'm just going to put my dies on here, and we'll get all of these elements die cut out. And then we're going to have some fun working with the pattern paper that is included in the 6x6 premium cardstock magical Quokka paper pad. So I'm just going to get all my dies laid out on here. And I stamped them all in a single stamping where I just laid my full stamp on the carrier sheet and I just taped it to my Misty door and just stamped them all at once. So I'm going to have to do a couple die cuttings because some of them are kind of tight. I'm getting the bigger ones taped down so that I can die cut them out. And then I'll have to run a second pass on some of the smaller ones that are in there a little bit tighter. And that's because I just, like I said, stamped everything on the carrier sheet. It's a real quick way when you want to stamp all of your elements on a stamp set to just do that. And so I'm just going to get them all taped up. And then I'll run it to my die cutting machine. And then we will come back and start playing around with all of these elements. This is really cute. I had fun coloring it. So here we go. I have ran the first pass through and I'm just popping all of my elements out. And I'm going to pull off all of the dies that I already used. And then I'll bring in the smaller ones that I have not used so that I can get the candle and the hat and the potion die cut out. And we'll just line them up. And these dies line up nice and tight. Make a real nice die cut. And I've just got to get my little potion bottle laid down and we'll get it taped down. I'm just using some mint tape just to kind of hold them in place and make sure they're in the right spot for the die cutting. So I die cut those out and I've got all of my pieces here and I'm really pleased with them. I think they look super cute. The coloring was fun. And I had a lot of fun just coloring them off camera. And now I've got my magical Quokka paper pad here. And I am just going to select some pieces of cardstock here that I want to use so that I can make some cards. I'm going to make 3 cards today with this. And so I'm just going to flip through here and find what I want to use. I'm going to use this lightning bolt and red pattern paper. And then I'm going to use this, I think I choose that, yeah, the mustard and the red stripe. I'm going to use it as well. And we'll put that together. I'm going to use the black and mustard. And there's where I pull in the red and the mustard for this. And I'm just going to start off with these. And I'm going to bring in some card sketches for these cards. I'm actually, Cat Scrappiness has been a sponsor of the Kinder's Card Challenge, which is awesome. For those of you that love Kinder's Card Challenge, I'm sure that you love that Cat Scrappiness does support that and provides product and prizes for those participants. Anyway, I'm going to use some of those sketches since they work together. And I'm actually, at the time this video is made, I'm using the sketches from number 14. And so I'm just going to get them laid down on here. I'm using a scrap piece of paper that I had die cut the center out for my backer sheet. I love to use my materials to the best of my ability. And so that's why that panel there was gutted, because I'd already used it and I saved it so that I could use it for a purpose like this. So you can see the back of that. And that blue pattern paper that's on the back, I will use some of that on my next card as well, I believe. So we'll just get this laid down, and I like that I've got a nice little white edge around there. And I'm just using a hammer mill card base, and I'm going to use these patterns here to create some 2x2 squares that I can lay some of this, some of my stamped images out on. And I think it'll be fun. It'll give me a nice little base to lay my stamped and die cut images on. And then I've decided that I'm going to back it with this black cardstock here. And this is just some cardstock I had from my stash. Now you can get some solid cardstock off of the Cat Scrappiness website if you need to get some, but I just had some of my stash. I'm just bringing it in. And I'm going to layer these squares up on this black paper here, cardstock here, and it'll just help my cardstock to just pop off that red. It'll just give a little separation between those two pattern papers so that it won't seem so busy. And I think it turns out nice. So we're just going to lay these down according to the sketch, and then we can bring in some of our stamped images and just have some fun with this stuff. So I'm trying to line them up to where I got a nice little margin between all three of my panels. And I'm really showcasing the pattern paper in this video here. That's why I went ahead and did my coloring off camera. It does take a good bit of time to color. So I'm going to bring in my wizard with the wand and get him laid down on here. And I'm also going to bring in the Book of Magic, and lay it down. And then for my third element, I'll bring in the hat. And I'm not a expert on this wizardry elements. I have maybe caught a little bit of the Harry Potter series, but not enough to know what all of the terms are for all these things. So if I'm not calling them the right things, you'll understand that's why. But I think they're very cute and very fun. Now, this was a really fun pattern paper that I liked as well. This is the candle, and we've got the black background, and then we've got the candles. And I'm going to use this for my next card and just create a panel for it. And it'll be my background panel. And we'll get it laid down. And we're going to use this, I had cut the squares off of this, and so I thought, I'm going to go ahead and use this piece up since it's about the right size, and I like to use, my scraps. So I'm going to back our candle paper with the mustard and the red striped paper, and you can see we've got our little wizards on the back of that. This pattern paper is double-sided, and it is just wonderful. I really enjoy using this. And we've got the mustard and black stripes on the back of that one. And we'll get this laid down on here. And we're going to use another one of the sketches. And I've got my candle because I've got my background candle cardstock there. So I'm going to bring in the candle as one of the elements for this because it only makes sense that I'm using my candle cardstock. So I'm going to bring in my candle element. So I'm just taking another piece of that black that I had in my stash, and I'm going to lay it down in the center of this. And I'm also going to bring in some red. This red is just a major element of the colors within this pattern paper. So I thought I'd just bring it in and lay it down. And my black will just be the back layer for this. And then we'll just get these two glued up, laid down. And then we'll bring in some more of our stamped and colored elements. I will list all of the materials in the description box below, as well as tag them in the product bar so that you can check them out. And if you'll shop from those links, it'll be very helpful. And so I've got the candle that I'm going to lay down there, and I've got my wizard, and I'm going to get him laid down there as well. And that'll fit perfectly on this panel. Now this sketch also calls for a couple banners. So I'm just going to bring in some of the cardstock patterns, and I'll just create a couple of banners that we're going to kind of tier. And you'll see what I mean in a minute. So I'm going to bring in the mustard and the yellow and the black. And then I'm going to bring in the mustard and, actually I decided to use the lightning bolt since I didn't have that pattern on here. And I'm just going to lay them on this black piece of paper here. And we're just going to, this I found is the easiest way to do this. Just lay it down on there, and then I'll trim it up, and then we'll add this to our card base. So I hope you like this Magical Quokka set. It's really a lot of fun. We had a lot of fun. We did a hop earlier this month with it, and all of the team created with it. So there should be lots of inspiration out there for you to look at in addition to this video. So I encourage you to check it out. Now the sketch calls that you lay these banners on the other side, but I'm actually going to lay them on this side because I just had more room on there because I had my Quokka on the left side, so it just fit better. So now I'm thinking about a third card, and I'm trying to decide what pattern paper I'm going to use. And I'm just looking at my elements and trying to decide what I'm going to do. And then I decided I'm going to lay this down on there. And so that then we'll leave these elements for our third card. And I'm just going to bring in some more of that 6x6 Magical Quokka cardstock, premium cardstock. And I decided to use, I'm going to use this blue, I think. This is the blue Magic Potion is what it is. And I thought since I had that Magic Potion bottle left, it made sense to bring that in. And so I'm going to cut it down to what the sketch calls for. And I want to get it in the right direction so that my potion bottles are facing in the right direction for the card sketch. And then I'll decide how I'm going to back this. And so I'm going to bring in my card base, and I decided I'd just like to lay it to where I have some white, because I think that white looks really good with that blue pattern on the potion cardstock. And then I'm going to bring a strip that I had left over from the previous, which is the back side of one of those papers. And I'm going to trim it according to what the sketch calls for. And at first I cut it wrong because I'm flipping my sketch. And then I realized I've flipped my sketch, so I need to trim it down like that. So I'm going to take it and just trim it again. And it'll work on my top folding A2 size sketch. And we'll get it laid down on there. And I'm deciding that I need to back it with something. And I thought about using some white cardstock to back it. And I had this scrap over here, and I thought I was going to use it. And then I didn't like the angles on it, so I just decided to bring in another panel and just cut some white hammermail. And I'll just back this red on that, and then that will make my red cardstock pop on my blue. And so we'll get this laid down on there. And I just love this pattern paper. I especially like this blue. I'm kind of drawn to dark blue backgrounds for some reason. I think it's really pretty. So I've got that laid down on there. And then I'm just going to create an area for my focal point, which is going to be my Magical Quokka on the broom. And I've decided I love this pattern paper that's part of the paper pack. And so I'm going to bring it in, and I thought it could look really nice on here. Now this sketch also calls for a couple other pieces of pattern paper, and so I'm going to really be using some pattern paper on here. Now I've decided I'm going to line it with, I'm going to put a gray panel on there so that I'll have a good landing spot for my Quokka. And so this is where I decide I'm just going to back this, and then I'm just going to create a landing spot for my Quokka rather than adding the additional pattern paper. I think I got a lot of pattern going on here. And so I'm going to pop this up and create a nice little place for my stamped and die-cut images. And I'm just going to leave the center empty because I've got my layers there that I can kind of straddle with my pattern paper. We'll get that laid down on there. And then we're going to bring in our Quokka on the broom, the magical flying broom. And we'll get it laid down on there. And then I want to bring my potion in because I'm using my potion premium cardstock there. And I'm also going to bring in some of the other elements. This is like a little wand, I think. And I'm trying to decide where to put them. And I'm just going to glue it down on there like that. And then we'll save the other elements for later. Now I'm looking at him and I'm thinking, Cat Scrappiness has all of this amazing embellishment pieces, and I thought I need to bring one of those in. And there happens to be a Gryffindor embellishment piece that is specific to this set. And so I'm going to bring in my triangle tray and dump some of those out in there. Now some of these are quite large. They're really good shaker bits, and in my last video of this set, I did make a shaker card. So I'm going to be very selective and pick some of the flatter pieces out of this embellishment set so that I can lay them down on my card bases. But there are some gold balls and some larger embellishment pieces in this set. It's very, very fun. But I'm going to use the flatter ones. and embellish my cards with that. There's some of that yellow that I'm going to bring out and put on there that will kind of match my cards very nicely. So I'm just going to use that, get those laid down on there, and that will add some finishing elements to my cards. And I think this was really fun to work with. Very colorful, very vibrant, and it was so much fun to color the stamps and images and to die cut them out and then to just play with this fun pattern paper. So I'm just trying to get all of these elements laid down on there and kind of clean the glue up. I got a little messy with the glue, so we'll get them cleaned up. And we've got 3 really fun cards here. And I'll just add some more to my 3rd card and get it laid down on there. And we'll just put our embellishments back in the bag, and here we go. I think they're super cute. I hope you like them. Have a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.